Hi everyone, I'm Callie Kim. Welcome to my garden. I'm about to harvest the most amazing tomatoes I've ever grown. And I'm going to show you the tomato trellis trick that is giving me these amazing tomatoes. And at the end, I'm going to show you our favorite tomato treats to eat. I'm so excited to harvest these tomatoes. I've been waiting all summer for this. The tomato trellis trick I've been using this summer is this tomato string trellis. A lot of you have been following along with me on this one. Built it entirely out of repurposed materials. Now, the idea behind the tomato string trellis is you single stem the tomatoes, cut out all the extra branches and the suckers so you get more healthy tomatoes and bigger tomatoes. And wow, it is really working for me. My tomatoes did get some heat damage, but they have almost zero disease because all of the airflow the extra pruning provides. And the tomatoes are the biggest I've ever grown. We've got 4 tomatoes in this small space, so the trellis really manages the size. Aunt Ruby's German green, chocolate stripes, and triple crop. 4 tomatoes growing in 4 feet of space. The tomato string trellis is really doing the trick this year to grow me the biggest tomatoes yet. Check out how I built it right here. Now, if you're a gardener, you know the excitement and the thrill of harvesting your own homegrown produce, especially tomatoes. The taste of tomatoes just can't be beat. And one of my favorites is Aunt Ruby's German green. Now, it's a little bit tricky to tell how to harvest a green tomato. This one's got gorgeous green stripes, but what I do is I just squeeze it a little bit. And it has a little bit of a give like this one does. Ooh, the juice is dripping out. This one is overdue. It looks like it's cracked. We got it just in time. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the tomatoes on this vine. It will free up more energy to produce more tomatoes later on in the season. Oh, these are absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to check these up here higher on the vine. They are ready. Now this one you can see is a little bit misshapen. No worries. That's just either a pollination issue or something like that, but no worries, it's still edible. I'm going to go ahead and clip it off. It's got that slight give. And take the one right above it too. Now, if you've got critter problems in your garden, as I do, you can always harvest them at first blush and then ripen them on the counter or in a paper bag so you get more than the critters do. Oh, those are beautiful. A gorgeous chocolate stripes. Now this one, let me show you one up further on the vine that's not quite ready. It's lighter in color and it's definitely harder. I'm going to leave that on for a couple more days. Now the key to the tomato string trellis is keeping up with the pruning once a week. So every week I come out here and prune the suckers. The little branch that comes out between the main branch and a side branch is called the sucker. Prune those out to manage the size and create a lot more airflow under your plants. And next up is the mushroom basket. This is probably my favorite tomato this year. Look at the shape of this tomato. This is an heirloom and it has these gorgeous, absolutely beautiful ridges. We've already harvested a few off this plant. When you cut this tomato, it is absolutely beautiful and so tasty. Matt, come here. What do you think, buddy? Now we have had problems with some rats this year, so my solution was to put a smart pot over this humongous cluster of tomatoes underneath to protect it from the rats. Let's see if it worked. Oh my goodness, we've hit the mother lode here, folks. I know I'm going crazy over these tomatoes, but I really am excited. Last year my harvest was such a bummer, and this year, look at these tomatoes, the mushroom basket. These are the prettiest tomatoes I think I've ever seen. We are going to have a feast tonight. Over here, we've got the triple crop, and we've got one ripe one on the vine that I'm going to go ahead and clip. These ones, still a little bit green. I'm going to leave them to harvest later. After I do a big harvest like this, I like to give my tomato plants a good boost with a handful of compost, some of Monterey's Epsom salt for flowering and fruiting, and some of the Vermisteria worm tea. Because we've got plenty of warm weather left, I want lots more tomatoes for my plants. Now this is a great harvest, but I haven't even shown you the biggest one. Come on. The biggest tomato I've ever grown is down here on my first tomato string trellis at the bottom of the hill. This is what I call the big kahuna. These seeds were given to me by Cliff, our moderator on our live stream. Make sure you join us on Mondays at noon Pacific time. He grows giant vegetables and he sent me these seeds from his garden in Idaho. and I was so nervous the rat was going to eat it. Jerry got his critter cam out here, and I covered it again with a Smart Pot. Here we go, guys, the big reveal, and I brought the scale down so we can weigh it. You can see it's so heavy, it's bending over the branch. Oh my goodness. This thing is humongous. I'm not feeling any rat holes underneath. This is called the Domingo. Wow, it's huge. And still a little bit of green here at the top. But I'm going to go ahead and take this baby and ripen it inside because I do not want the rats to get it. This thing is massive. By far the biggest I've ever grown. I mean, these tomatoes are pretty beautiful in the basket, but even this mushroom basket tomato pales in comparison to Domingo. So I'm going to pop it on the scale and see how much it weighs. Tomatoes over, and they have that on the bottom of them. Not to worry. Sometimes tomatoes have a little bit of deformity like that, but they're still perfectly edible. So let's pop Domingo on the scale. I'm really looking forward to seeing how much Domingo weighs. Right now our scale is set at 0. Wow, we have got a 1 pound, 2.5 ounce tomato here, folks. It's definitely a record for the Callie Kim garden. Thanks, Cliff, for sending me the seeds. Now, the interesting thing is, this trellis is about 3 to 4 weeks behind trellis number 2 behind it, because it was planted about 3 to 4 weeks later, and it doesn't get as much sunlight as trellis number 2. But you can see there's lots of green tomatoes on the vines here. I'm absolutely loving how it doesn't look overgrown with tomatoes, but there's plenty of space around, and my tomatoes have very, very minimal disease as compared to other methods that I've grown them with. Couldn't be more thrilled with this beautiful tomato harvest, but I cannot wait to eat it. I'm going to grab some basil here. I'm going to use that in the tomato treats I'm going to make. Super easy. And I always love growing basil and tomatoes together. Basil usually benefits from a little bit of the shade that the tomato plants provide. This is Prospera basil, and look at these gorgeous, beautiful leaves. And by the way, I'm having a 50% off all my seed collection sale from now through Labor Day with the code, what else? Tomato. If you were on our Monday live stream this week, you'll know that I just wrote a 3rd book called The 10-Minute Gardener, which is now available for pre-order. So pre-order it now over at calliekimgardenandhome.com so your copy ships right on release date. When you pre-order it, you get a free 10-minute garden guide and also a $10 coupon to our site. I've laid out my tomato harvest here on the table. It is absolutely beautiful. Made even more beautiful because it's golden hour, my favorite time of the day, the hour before sunset. Sun is setting behind us. You couldn't ask for a better time to be cooking in the garden. So easy to make what I'm going to make for you guys today. I'm going to use my Domingo tomato, which I've already washed, and my green zebra that actually split on the bottom. I want to use this one first, so we don't introduce any bacteria into our tomatoes. We're going to eat it right away. And by the way, when you store your tomatoes, do not store them in the refrigerator. It changes the flavor and the texture of the tomatoes. Don't wash them until you use them. Put them on the countertop. Once you slice them, put them in the fridge for whatever you haven't eaten. So my favorite tomato snacks, and really this is going to be our dinner tonight, is a caprese salad and feta on garlic bread with tomatoes on top. You really can't beat it. So first we're going to make our caprese salad. I'm going to use Domingo for that. Now if you're familiar with caprese, you know that it's tomatoes, fresh mozzarella, and fresh basil, of course. Now, I don't know how you guys are, but I'm always a little reluctant to eat my tomatoes because they are absolutely so beautiful. But I'm going to cut into Domingo. I love this tomato knife. It's serrated, nice and sharp. And the point is great for cutting out the core. So let's cut the core out first. And because Domingo is not quite ripe, it's a little bit hard to cut here at the top. Cut that core out, and let's slice her open. Nice and meaty. Do you see that? There's hardly any little cavities for seeds, but I am going to save some seeds for Cliff and pay it forward. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous slices. My mouth is watering. Camera guy, yours has got to be too, holding that camera.
Yes, this looks amazing.
Oh my goodness. Little black spot there, no problem. We're just going to cut that out. What an unbelievably gorgeous tomato. So for caprese, you can either chop up your tomatoes if you want to, but these are so pretty. I'm just going to lay them out on the plate. Then typically for caprese, you just lay your mozzarella on top of your tomato slices. It's so easy. And you really do need to have the fresh mozzarella slices. It makes all the difference in the world. Don't use the pre-shredded mozzarella. It just does not have the same flavor. I'm going to give it a sprinkle of sea salt. I'll throw some salt over my shoulder for good luck. I think it's a left shoulder, but we'll see. But I'm having good luck with these tomatoes. Give it a nice twist of fresh ground pepper. You've got to have fresh ground. All that beautiful flavor. And then I am just going to pinch off my fresh basil leaves, lay it right on top. Oh, this is beautiful. Just absolutely delicious. And then if you want to, you can give it a little drizzle of olive oil or balsamic vinegar and give it a nice light little drizzle. In fact, sometimes I just put my fingers over the top and just do one of those. Not too much. You don't want it too oily. Just enough to give it some beautiful, beautiful flavor. Now for this beautiful Aunt Ruby's German green. I think I said green zebra earlier, with the whipped feta sourdough garlic bread. Oh, this is absolutely amazing. So we're going to cut this baby open. The green zebra is super prolific and definitely one of my favorites. The green tomatoes are just to die for. And this one's in my tomato seed collection. Look at the inside of this tomato. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Jerry, you got to come in for a close-up shot on this. Just gorgeous and so, so juicy. A little bit of a pink center there. Oh my goodness. If you're a tomato lover, these tomatoes are to die for. Just beautiful. Now for my whipped feta, I keep it super easy. I just get the crumbled feta, put a little bit of lemon juice in it, a little bit of lemon zest. So you grate the lemon so it gets a little bit of the lemon zest in there and put it in the food processor. So I did 6 ounces of feta, about 2 to 3 ounces of whipped cream cheese, a squeeze of lemon juice, and a zest from the lemon. It is so delicious. And I've got my grilled sourdough bread here, actually air fryered sourdough bread. It's sourdough rosemary bread. So just browned to perfection in the air fryer, slathered some butter on it, some garlic salt. Now we're going to top it with some of the whipped feta. Oh baby, this is good. Got to get 2 pieces because camera guy needs one too. Be generous with that feta. It's delicious. And then, of course, top it with the star of the show, Aunt Ruby's German green. Wow, wow, wow. Sprinkle it with some sea salt. Come on in here, Jerry, for this closer shot. These gardeners are going to want to see this. Bam, got your sea salt on. And bam, your cracked black pepper. And the crowning glory is the basil. Fresh basil just can't be beat. Basil and tomato is just a match made in heaven. And bam, we are ready for dinner in under 10 minutes. Jerry, you ready for dinner?
Oh, this looks fabulous.
The best tomato haul yet. Let's just dig in.
Okay.
I'm going to grab some tomato feta toast. You want to grab the caprese salad? Sure. Actually, I'm going to give you this first. I'll show you how I eat the caprese salad. Okay. So for this, the best thing is just dig right in. I'm going to pick up the tomato, basil. Oh my gosh, Domingo. Wow. Cliff, I am going to save you some seeds from this and just give it a bite. Wow. The flavor is absolutely incredible.
No, it's just fresh and clean. There's just nothing. You don't get this in a grocery store. It's amazing.
Garden fresh in every single bite. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming along on our best tomato harvest ever. You all, please let me know what tomatoes you're harvesting, what your favorite one is. And hey, if you're going to try the tomato string trellis, let me know that too. Thanks for joining us in the garden tonight. See you next time.